Hundreds of people used to call the Budgetel extended stay home until the DA's office shut it down, citing crime, drugs, and squalor. Now those who are living here are fighting to have their interests heard in a legal battle that currently doesn't include them.
These are all just numbers, that just random people, just people trying to be people.
Hundreds of names that Rebecca Revels is recruiting.
This is Rebecca Revels. We met the other day at the Budgetel.
In the 2 days since her mother Edith was evicted, Rebecca feels the residents of the Budgetel extended stay are collateral damage.
One person in a family commits a crime and they lock the whole family up for this situation. That's exactly how these people feel.
While the area is known for its high crime rate, for many families, it's their best option, prompting Rebecca to try and call all 700 residents evicted from the hotel one by one.
I'm going to give you the information for the lawyer
and ask them to sign a letter of intervention.
Coty Wamp against the Budgetel.
In the injunction filed by Wamp against the Budgetel, only the hotel is listed as a defendant.
None of the residents are named in this.
And with a successful motion, Rebecca and the over 80 residents she's recruited so far hope to be added onto the case as defendants. That would mean they could plead their individual cases in court with their own attorneys, an important step after Rebecca and the residents feel their voice has been taken away.
They've got a right to feel that way.
It's a decision supported by the Union Gospel Mission president, John Rector.
But nobody knew about it until Tuesday afternoon, from what I understand.
Who says the DA should have given residents and nonprofits more time to respond.
I'm sure the best intentions were had, but agencies should have been notified.
That time, Rebecca's main focus, as she says the county's swift action violated their rights.
All these papers were filed on the 14th, verified on the 15th, and everyone was homeless by the 16th.
Bonding together hundreds of families in a battle to save each other's homes.
You have to take care of your fellow neighbor.
It's not that help isn't here, and several groups came on site today to provide resources. But the question is the other housing available and for how long? Trisha Morgan is one of hundreds of residents kicked out of their room with this injunction at Budgetel Extended Stay Inn.
Someone might be trying to help us with a motel, but I mean, I'm not really sure if that's in. If that don't go through, we're sleeping in our car, and as you see, it's full.
Morgan says money is tight, and she just paid rent 1 day before the eviction.
We asked if we could get our money back so we can at least go get another room, but they're not giving our money back.
The big question now, where will these hundreds of people go next? DA Coty Wamp pushed back on calling the people who stay here week to week homeless.
These individuals are not homeless. Our intention is not for them to be homeless. They have the ability to pay. We know that because a lot of them have been staying at a hotel that costs them between $1,000 and $1,400 a month.
But Sam Wolf, the director for homelessness and supportive housing for Chattanooga, who came here to help, says there is an underlying issue Wamp is overlooking.
People don't have any other option, right? It's easier to kind of pay week by week in an extended stay like this if people don't have the money that they save up to need to move in. If you think about it, moving into an apartment's expensive.
And perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this eviction, the 71 kids that Hamilton County Schools says live within these now condemned walls.
We wanted them to send their kids to school today because we knew at school that we could still care for our kids and they could have a normal day. We could feed them breakfast and lunch.
And while there are organizations here to help, for now, it's only a temporary solution.
With the resources that have been on site here today, that they have secured housing overnight, at least for the next 48 hours, so that they can gather their thoughts and actually develop a plan.
It has been 3 days since Hamilton County's DA shut down the Budgetel Inn in East Ridge. Tonight, families want to go back. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kim Chapman-Whitfield. A lot of people say they were forced to leave and forced to leave so much behind. Fox Chattanooga's Hannah Mae found out some residents say the prep time to leave wasn't enough.
Hundreds of residents were forced out of their homes here at the Budgetel Inn Extended Stay. One couple tells us they didn't just lose their home, but they lost so much more.
To me, everything. We lost everything.
Robert and Tisha Morgan have been struggling ever since Hamilton County's District Attorney Coty Wamp decided to shut down the Budgetel Inn because they're living in, quote, squalor. The Morgan says there was no notice with such little time to gather their belongings.
We had a whole house in there, couches, end tables, coffee tables, like all my granddaughters and grandsons' stuff, toys, car seats. I mean, just you name it, it was left.
The Morgans tried to see if they are able to get the items that were left behind, but the answer was no. East Ridge Police Department says they have to coordinate with District Attorney Wamp, and the District Attorney's PIO, Jay Price, says residents have over 12 hours to retrieve their items that day.
They're saying no one's allowed to go back over there.
Residents are leaning on local charities who have stepped up, including Union Gospel Mission.
The fact that we just want to let them know somebody cares. You know, they're fixing hundreds of people fixing to be on the street, and that was important to us. So we let them know we cared about their situation, even if we couldn't house them, you know, if we couldn't put them up somewhere, at least we could show them we cared.
The Morgans say as long as they have each other, they always end up on their feet.
Plans now is just trying to find another job and let's go from there. That's all we can do.
One day at a time.
Yeah. Right.